Jay Tiegs, certified high performance coach. I inspire and instruct people through 5 areas of high performance: clarity, courage, productivity, influence, and energy to help people live a more purposeful and fulfilling life. And today, I want to talk to you about goal setting. Starting off on a goal, why is it that we fall off the bandwagon altogether? I'm going to give you 6 strategies to help you identify a goal and stick with it. Stick-to-itiveness is what we call it. I don't know if that's an actual word or not, but basically we seek change. How do we commit and follow through on that, on achieving that goal or changing that habit? So have you ever had a goal or wanted to change a habit and found yourself not long afterwards, you'd made some strides, just completely fall off the bandwagon? You can see it in our society. In January, people have their New Year's resolution. And so in the month of January, it's hard to even find a treadmill, find any weights because there's people everywhere, right? But as the month goes on, you get into February and the parking lot comes a little bit more. It's easy to find a parking space. It's easier to get on a treadmill. By the end of like February and March, the gyms are kind of back to normal, and then you even find yourself not going. Happens to all of us. Maybe it's maybe you have an intention of showing up kinder to someone at work. Maybe you're butting heads with a coworker, and you're trying to reset your intention. And maybe you over a course of a couple days, do some nice things, but then you get back and you're in that irritable, foul mood. You're not showing up like you want to. Maybe it's a financial goal. Many of us have had financial goals. Maybe we're trying to set money aside for emergency fund, or maybe start contributing to an IRA or your kid's college fund. A couple paychecks come by and you're able to put money away. But then ultimately life happens. You need new tires for the car, and then you fall off the track financially. Or there's a sale on a new TV and you opt for the TV. It's happened to all of us. And even for me, so an area that I've struggled with is my health and nutrition. So I'm a very active person. I've been in the military for a long time. Always lived a very active lifestyle. I like to run. I like cycling. I don't mind going to the gym. I look forward to it. But equally, I like beer. I like pizza. I like hamburgers. I like all of those things. And what I've learned is you cannot outrun nutrition. So for many years, although I was very active, I didn't like how I felt when I took my shirt off. I felt kind of in the afternoons, I didn't have the energy levels that I thought that I should have, given the amount. I'd go out on a 6-8 mile run in the morning, only to have like crashing energy levels in the afternoon where I would require a Monster or some type of caffeine. And I didn't have the energy levels, to do like I'd want to get up on a Saturday morning, but I might have had maybe a couple too many beers. I didn't have the energy levels to follow through on the ride. And that kind of bothered me, but eventually I had to go to the doctor and I found out that I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. That changed everything for me. That was a true wake-up call because I want to live a more active lifestyle later in life. I want to be able to run a marathon with my grandchildren. It's that important to me. And it was that wake-up call. It was me getting sick and tired, like literally getting sick and tired of being sick and tired, to actually become a student of nutrition and kind of rein in my habits. It took me some time, but I can proudly say at 42 years of age, I'm in the greatest shape of my life. I feel more confident taking my shirt off. I no longer need the high blood pressure medication. Now, I've got to be consistent. I've got to stay on top of it. I got to drink my gallon of water. I got to get my sleep. I got to really dial in my nutrition. I got to say no a lot. But it's that important for me to be able to do that in order to have that healthy lifestyle that I want later in life, God willing. So through that process of learning, I've been able to help a lot of other people because we all know what we need to do with our health and nutrition. It's a simple equation for most people. You burn more calories than you take in. You need to stick to a diet plan. You don't need to go to the gym. But what I help people do is shift their mindset so they can cultivate discipline and grit to see it through to the end. So you may have at one time in your life, maybe you have, so we tend to get limiting beliefs. And I'll have you consider, maybe you've tried to pick up an instrument, maybe play guitar or maybe piano, tried a little bit, fingers hurt from the guitar, and you just determined, hey, you know what, maybe I'm not a music person. Maybe you've tried a new language, and that's not an easy thing to do. luckily for us, for we're English speaking, it's a difficult language to learn, but trying to speak Spanish or, another form of language is very difficult to pick up on. And you may just throw your hands up in the air and you're like, know what, maybe I'm just not a language person. And I just have you consider when you have those you develop a limiting belief when you say things like that. And there's this thing called the competence confidence loop. The more competence you gain in something, the more confidence that you gather. So it's the same with learning a new skill. So be mindful of the fact that when you throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm just not that type of person, I'm just not an artist, I cannot play an instrument, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're feeding your self-doubt and your limiting belief. And the more competence that you gain in something, the more confidence that you're going to have. So gain confidence in your ability to learn things, you're going to have more, you're going to have greater competence, because as you continue to learn through that thing and face those challenges and push through, you're going to gather greater confidence. A couple of the reasons that change doesn't stick, it's twofold. Lack of motivation, lack of attention. When we're talking about lack of motivation, the change or the habit that you seek, it's not an ambition, it's not a deep desire. We become very flippant and casual toward how we approach the goal, which is why it doesn't stick. It's not nested with your purpose, and it's not congruent with who you are as a person. The second thing is lack of attention. You may write down the goal, maybe a checklist, check it off, show up a couple times, and then you move on to the next shiny thing, or you're distracted by something else. And so you got to be cognizant of the lack of motivation and lack of attention when it comes to goal setting. So with that said, I've got 6 strategies here for you to help you overcome a goal, or stick to a goal rather. So the first one is you got to write it down. You got to write the goal down in a journal or a planner. When you write it down, you think about it and how to attack it. You need to plan it. It takes 21 days to develop a habit that you must think about. It takes another about 300-ish days to develop a habit where it's mindless, where you don't have to think about it. So part of developing a habit is writing it down and taking action steps toward it every day. And on the topic of action steps, the second habit is taking action. When you write it down, you must carve out the time each day to do something toward that habit. If it's diet and exercise, well, you got to carve out time and show up and actually do the workout. You got to plan your healthy meals. You got to plan your gallon of water. You've got to do those things. If it's a financial goal, you got to carve time to do a budget. Maybe you got to carve time to sell something, to invest, to carve time to go seek a financial planner. You've got to take the action step and do the thing once you write it down. The third strategy is you've got to measure the progress daily. So if it's health and nutrition, obviously you can step on a scale each day. I would like to add to that. That should not be the only metric when it comes to health and nutrition. You should also be taking measurements of your body. You should be taking progress photos. You should also have health and fitness goals that are, I'm going to eat X amount of healthy meals, or, dial in on your macros. Maybe it is something like, hey, I can only do 5 pull-ups now. I want to get up to 7 by the end of the month, something like that. Or I want to move my run time from 7 minutes down to 6:45, something of that nature. So have measurable metrics. If it's showing up with intention, something that's not quite measurable, like you want to improve your relationship with your significant other and show up better, you can do a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, 1, I was a jerk and an ass today. 10, I was loving, I blew it out of the park. I showed up as the person that I wanted to be today. So that's a way to do that. The fourth way to do that is share goals with other people. Announce it to other people. Hopefully you have people in your circle that are cheerleading you. If you have naysayers and people that want to see you fail, well, that could give you fuel to spite them. So solicit, tell people that you're going to do something and make that announcement. You're going to be more likely to show up every day. Fifth strategy, get a coach or an accountability partner. Okay, so your coach and accountability partner, if you hire a coach, you can set up a strategy session, someone that has experience to plan, help you strategize, look at things from a different angle, and hold you accountable. If you can't find a coach or can't afford one, then get an accountability partner. Because if you have, say, like a health and fitness goal and you ghost them at the gym or you're supposed to meet up for a run, it doesn't feel very good. They're probably going to get an earful. You're going to feel like garbage. So you're going to be less likely to sleep in if you have an accountability partner. The sixth strategy is create a vision board. You can do this old school with like a cork board and just cut out pictures and look at it and visualize. You can use your desktop on your computer, put photos. You can use a meditation technique. I know part of 75 Hard, it's 10 minutes of visualization. So it's like closing your eyes and visualizing the person you want to become. Visualize the goals that you have. Maybe it's a shiny new object like a boat or an RV or a new car. You can also visualize just your day. Simply like, hey, I've got these things I got to get through today. I've got this big meeting. This is how I want to show up with my intention. These are the conversations that I need to have. This is how it could go. Kind of war game and strategize that in your head. Some mistakes that people make when it comes to goal setting is they're too general in their goal. It's not specific. It's very vague, very general. They're also seeking perfection. A lot of people are paralyzed because they want things to be perfect. For example, like this very video, like this is one of my very early videos on mindset coaching. I'm still kind of crutching on my notes. I'm using my cell phone. I don't have a high-speed camera. Probably a little echoey in here. It's not perfect, and I'm okay with that because in order to become better, I've got to put in the repetitions, and I'm not going to let the fear of failure or judgment stop me from my goal. Everyone has self-doubt and limiting beliefs. The people that perform better are confident in their abilities, and they don't let the self-doubt overtake them and paralyze them. Another reason that people fall short is they lack realism. Their goal is too lofty. It's good to have a stretch goal to stretch you outside your comfort zone. But if it's not realistic and you never achieve anything, you're never going to gain the confidence to achieve things. And then finally, the goal it conflicts with your purpose. Maybe it's someone else's goal. Maybe it's someone else's idea, something you know you should do or want to do, but it's not in line with who you are as a person. And then finally, when looking at goals, you need to follow the SMART mnemonic, okay? It needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive. The goal must be specific. I recommend an action verb. I am going to do this action. It needs to be measurable. You need to be able to measure over time your progress. And once again, if you can't measure specific benchmarks, maybe it's not a dollar amount or, if you're health and nutrition size or repetitions or weight loss, and it's more like intention, 1 to 10. 1, I'm not showing up like I want to. 10, I knocked it out of the park. That's another way to measure it. It's got to be achievable. Not too difficult. It should stretch you out your comfort zone, but it should be something that you can actually achieve. It needs to be relevant. It needs to be in line with who you are as a person. It needs not to be someone else's goal, something that you truly believe in. And you need to have a timestamp of when you're going to achieve it. In addition to your measurement, your benchmarks need to also be in line with your time. So I hope this video serves you. I would love to hear any strategies that you have employed, what kind of lofty goals that you've had that you've been able to achieve, because it might be able to help someone else. And if you've watched this far, thank you. If this has served you, I'd like to hear about that as well. Like this, share it with someone who may need to hear it. I appreciate you. And once again, just remember, we all fall short in our goals sometimes, but hopefully these strategies will help you. If there's anything that I can do to help you, if you